Good morning. Welcome to my channel. I appreciate you stopping by here. Today I'm making some homemade biscuits. We're going to make some biscuits from scratch. We don't have any canned biscuits here. I'm in the kitchen cooking some grits. And I'm going to show you how to make some biscuits the way you don't have to buy them in the stove. This is my mixing bowl that I'm going to be using. You only need 3 ingredients, which is self-rising flour. This is heavy whipping cream. You'll need a cup of that. I'm using some sweetener. We're using sugar-free maple syrup. You can use any sweetener of your choice. If you choose, you'll need 2 cups of self-rising flour, which is basically all-purpose flour with added salt and baking powder. And you'll need about a third cup of any sweetener of your choice. You could use sugar, honey, agave, stevia, monk fruit, whatever you want. You could use any type of dairy that you would like, but heavy whipping cream is the best way to go. You'll need a cup of that. You can use half and half. You can use whole milk. You can use evaporated milk, whatever you choose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray my mixing bowl here. This keeps from excess flour sticking, and it's going to make the cleanup afterwards easier. And plus, you're not going to waste a whole lot of flour by having to basically wipe it out and throw it away. This prevents a whole lot of flour from being wasted. So we're going to put 2 cups of flour in here, and then we're going to put in the heavy whipping cream and the syrup. All right, so we got our 2 cups of flour. You still need to hang on to some flour. You're not done with it yet because you're gonna need flour when you put the dough on flat, clean, flat surface. And I'll show you how to do that. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna stir this flour around. I'm using my fork. This is basically the process of sifting the flour. You don't need to go out and buy a sifter. Try to be all fancy and stuff like that, because if your food's not hidden, it's not gonna matter. And your food is, if it's not good, nobody's coming back to your house to eat your food again. So all you want to do is just kind of stir this flour around and get all the lumps out. Like I said, if you don't need a sifter, I mean, if you have it, it's great, but we're just keeping it simple. I'm just keeping it 100. So yeah, just stir this flour around. That's all you got to do. Okay. Set this fork to the side. Then we're gonna add our 1 cup of heavy whipping cream, and then we're gonna add our syrup, and then start to stir the batter together. All right, guys, this is our 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. This is our 1/3 cup of maple syrup. We're gonna go ahead and add in the heavy whipping cream. And then we got our syrup here that's about to go in. The syrup is to help balance everything out so that your biscuits are not plain, they're not bitter, they actually have taste. All right, so all we're gonna do is just kind of stir this together. Stir it around and around until we get a nice, sticky, wet dough, which is what you're looking for. If you want, you can go in here with your hands and start kind of folding the dough together. If you want, you don't have to. You can just use a fork. You can use a spoon. And once we're done, I'll show you what the dough is going to look like. You want to make sure that it's a nice sticky dough. You see that, how the flour is coming off? You don't want a whole lot of flour stuck on your bowl, because that's basically you wasting it at that point, because it's not going in the dough, right? And we're just going to stir it around. Now, if it wasn't for me spraying this Pam on here, I would have a whole lot of flour, probably about half of it left on this bowl. All right, so I'm gonna need to still kind of go in here with my hands and kind of fold this dough just a little bit, and then we're gonna put it on the flat surface, and I'm gonna show you how to put the dough together and start cutting biscuits out so that we can put them in the oven. All right, this is my surface I'm going to use to put the dough on. I got some aluminum foil here. I've sprayed cooking spray, some Pam on to keep the dough from sticking. And we're just gonna put the dough on here, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna start pressing it out and then folding it over several times so that we make layers in the biscuits. And then once that's done, I'll show you guys how to basically cut biscuits out of the dough. You can use a mason jar, you can use a glass, you can use a biscuit cutter, you can use what you have in your house. You don't have to go out and buy a biscuit cutter if you don't have one. It's simple to do. All right, that's our flour surface. All we're gonna do is put the dough on here now. You wanna make sure your surface is flour and to the point where the dough is not sticking to the surface, all right? If it's starting to stick, you need to add a little bit more flour to the dough, but don't overdo it, all right? So I'm gonna go ahead and put the dough on here, and then I need to use my hands. I need to wash my hands and start prepping this dough together. You wanna, like I said, you wanna flatten the dough out, at least about a 1/4 inch thick or thicker, and then just kind of start folding the dough in layers. Do it maybe about like 7 to 10 times, and then you're done. All you have to do is cut biscuits out from the dough. All right, that's how our dough looks. I've basically made layers in the biscuits. I've folded this dough like 15, 20 times. You don't have to do it that much, but that's what I did. So what I'm gonna do is I roll my glass here and some flour, and we're gonna start to cut the biscuits out. And all you do is just press all the way down. You don't have to twist, just press down and then lift up, okay? So that's one biscuit. We're gonna cut out another one. That's two. And basically this is keeping the dough from sticking to the glass, with the reason why I'm rolling it out like that. That's three. Ooh, I got real close to this other one. Okay, that's four. And then we're gonna take these out, put them in the cast iron skillet, and then basically we're gonna refold the dough and repeat the process. All right, I used all of my dough. I didn't waste any of the dough. So we have 8 biscuits here. This one right here is the one that was left from the remaining dough that I have. I just hand rolled this one. I cut the other 7 out, as you see here. And then we're gonna put these in the cast iron skillet. My oven is already ready to go, preheated at 450. We're gonna cook the biscuits for about 10 minutes. So here's my cast iron skillet. I have some oil in here. My grandmother taught us how to basically put some oil in the cast iron skillet and stick it in the oven, let the oil spread around whenever you're like cooking biscuits, anything like that. So I learned that from my grandmother. So we already have some oil in here. The cast iron skillet is hot. We're just gonna put the biscuits inside of here. And then what I'll do is I'll probably spray some nonstick spray on the top, make sure that any type of excess flour, little tiny pieces of flour, is fully cooked in the biscuit, and we don't get any raw flour taste when the biscuits are done, okay? So I'm gonna put the biscuits in here, and I'll let you see how they look before we stick them in the oven, and then when they come out of the oven. Okay, as you see, I have all of them in here. I barely got the 8 biscuits in here, barely. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spray some cooking spray on top so that it's gonna help with the browning process, get that kind of golden brown color on the top. And then the purpose of the oil is to keep the bottom of the biscuits from becoming hard in the oven. You know, a lot of times when you go out and you get biscuits from these restaurants, the top and the inside is fully cooked and soft, but the bottom is hard. That's because they're not using oil at the bottom. They're just kind of putting biscuits in a pan, so to speak. You want to make sure all the biscuits are touching, which is going to help them rise. So we're going to go ahead and coat the biscuits really well. And we're going to cook them for 10 minutes at 450. All right, the biscuits are done. That is how they look. So what I'm going to do, I'm gonna add a little bit of honey on top of the biscuits. Why not, right? Why not? And then I'm just gonna let these biscuits sit and rest, cool off for about 10 minutes, and then they will be ready to eat. And my grits are done. I'm gonna warm up my sausage real quick, and then we'll be ready to eat. So this is my breakfast here. I got some grits, and we got sausage going on here, and my homemade biscuits. My grits are always a hit. Always. And these biscuits are nice and soft too. This is the one I made, hand rolled them right here. That's what I'm talking about. That's good. They nice and soft. They not hard at all. Look at that. The bottom is not burnt either. All right, you guys take care. I'm gonna finish eating my breakfast. Thanks for watching. You can give this recipe a try. If you like the video, you can comment, subscribe, and hit the thumbs up.